Let me start by asking you right away what your take is on what we saw, that drama we saw on the floor of the House of Representatives.
Yeah, thank you, Deji. Every concerned citizen should be worried with what is playing out in the House, both chambers. We elected these members to actually effect some level of change in the way we play politics. You know, that remember that there has been this issue of impunity in the system, the issue of lawlessness, indiscipline in the country, and there was this burden on Nigeria that we need to chart a new course as a nation, and they came together in 2015 and elected people that will actually reflect the change in both in the executive and in the legislative chambers, and we had expected that burden, the mood of the nation, to be reflected in the membership of the House. I mean, the way they go about carrying their duties. Now, the first issue is about leadership, and they have not shown some level of wisdom and understanding in how to go about it in choosing those that will be the leaders of both chambers of the House. And so the issue of exchanging blows to some of us is going too far. And it's actually painting us in a very bad light in the international community. And Nigerians are not too happy with what actually transpired yesterday in the House of Representatives.
Let me just ask you this. I mean, it's nothing new anyway. We've seen this before in the previous National Assembly. I'm talking about the 7th and, of course, the 6th National Assembly. But what is actually surprising about this is the timing. It's coming at a time when these lawmakers are even yet to get down to business. How disappointing is this for you?
Very disappointing. Actually, as you pointed out, one wouldn't have expected the issue of who becomes a leader to lead to issue of people exchanging blows. One would have thought that if it concerns issue of lawmaking and normal disagreement as human beings, I mean, we see it all over the world where members of the House exchange blows, you know. But this is the beginning of this particular House. And it's a House, you remember that they adjourned for some time till last week for them to commence legislative duties. And so one would have expected the House to be in order to await the ministerial list of the president. But what did we see? We saw a House that is clearly disunited. We saw a House that has no clear vision of what the burden Nigerians are placed upon their shoulder is. And we see them, you know, exchanging blows on things that do not matter to us at this juncture. What matters to Nigerians are so many. The issue of state of insecurity, the issue of the economy, the issue of unemployment, the issue of basic infrastructures, you know, that have decayed. A lot of issues that Nigerians are, you know, are clamoring for a change. And so what we saw is not what we actually voted for. And I tell you that Nigerians are disappointed. Many Nigerians are clearly disappointed with what is going on now. And the only way this can be remedied is for them to actually come together and understand the burden they are carrying and understand the place they are in history, in Nigerian political history, that we came together and decided to effect a change, and that change must start immediately from the membership of that House. We need to see members that are disciplined. We will need to see members that understand the clear vision why they are elected under this new dispensation. And we want to understand the members that understand that the president also has a burden to carry out some fundamental reforms he wants to carry out, and he needs the cooperation of the House in order to carry out those reforms. So if we now see them in a disunited form, we now see them that there is no unity of purpose, then it then means that Nigerians are having betrayed. It then means Nigeria has been actually duped, you know, so to speak. So that is the level of disappointment. A lot of people are feeling totally disappointed. They are pained and they feel violated.
Let us talk about the actual politics of this. I mean, the way the APC, especially, let's look at it. Should, for instance, the Speaker and those who are loyal to him, they're all members of the APC anyway, should they have disregarded the position of the party, in your opinion?
Yeah, Deji, is clearly strange because they came into power on the political platform. The constitution is yet to allow independent candidacy. They came under a platform. And already the APC is grumbling the way the speaker, deputy speaker, the Senate President and Deputy Senate President emerged. They're already complaining at the time. They were disowned by the political party, but after some wise counsel prevailed, they accepted them. But the party is also insisting, according to the clear rules of the House and even according to custom and practices, it is the political parties actually that submit the names of the other principal officers of the House. Now you have like a PDP, they will, as an opposition party, bring in the issue of minority whip and other principal officers of the House. It's a political party that does that. Now, like APC, that is a majority political party, there are positions also they ought to, fill into the principal membership of the House. Now, they have nominated some certain names. And it's surprising and very shocking that the members that are there, who are their members actually, who is the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, ignore the letter of the APC. The same thing took place in the Senate chambers, where the President clearly ignored the letter that was written by his political party, the platform under which he came into power. So what we see playing out is something that is clearly strange. And then you begin to wonder who is actually behind these people. Whose instruction are they obeying? So is there any other party, that is actually causing the problem within the APC? Because these people came together to grab power from PDP. And I think they have the same ideology. They have an understanding that they must come in and carry out a reform and carry out the change mantra, they were chanting when they were asking for votes. And so when you now see that House not clearly following the clear directives of the political party that brought them into power, you begin to wonder who is actually advising them, who is actually giving them instruction, whose instruction are they obeying and all that. To me, it's a bit strange. It's a bit strange, and to many Nigerians, they are finding the entire thing not too funny.
But let's face it. How will the APC, how do you expect the APC to handle this now? Because this must be pretty damaging for the party. It's a very divided House.
The point is that I'm sure they didn't envisage this, but then some of us also who saw how they were accepting everyone that came in then for the purpose of grabbing power from PDP also foresaw that things like this can come up, because it was a mixture of individuals who do not clearly understand the ideology of the political party they are coming into. And so they have a clear big problem on their hands. There is no two way about it. Now what is playing out is that the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, we clearly want to do everything within their power to please the membership of the House because of the circumstances of the emergence. They don't have the support of their political party. And so everything they want to do throughout the 4 years, they will remain there, is to please the membership of the House and not the clear directives of the political party that brought them to power.
But let's face it. Yes. Excuse me, sorry to cut in here, but let's just face it. Yes, you are right. They would want to do things to please the House. But let's face it. The House itself is a divided House. In the Senate, it's a divided Senate. The APC members, they are divided against themselves. You come to the House of Representatives, the same thing. So it's going to also be pretty difficult for the Senate President and the Speaker of the House as well. Don't you think so?
Well, what I'm saying, it may not, if they continue to please the membership, especially since they have some minority members from APC supporting them, and also they have the majority of the PDP supporting them, so they owe their existence, they owe their sustenance with this group of people. So everything they want to do in the House is to please those members in order to remain in their position. And you see them disregarding the directive of the political party that brought them to power. And so APC now, you can see they have a clear big problem in their hands. And so that's why some of us are clamoring at this juncture that the president cannot afford to be aloof and say, look, I am not interested in what is going on there, because it is about him. Now, if this government fails, nobody will clearly remember the leadership of the House. Nobody will remember the leadership of the legislature. I mean, the judiciary. They will remember that it is President Buhari that is in charge, of the country within the 4 years. So his government will be the one people will say it's either a failure or a success. So he cannot afford now to say, oh, let me remain aloof. Yes, I agree with him that he didn't want to interfere initially when the issue of speakership and the presidency was an issue. But now that It involves issue of other principal members of the House, where the clear directive of the political party that brought them into power is being disrespected. He should come in as a father of the political party, whom they will defer to, and intervene directly and make sure that this matter is resolved amicably.
And it would appear as if the president does not really understand that, look, the National Assembly can actually make his government fail. As a matter of fact, the National Assembly can kill most of his policies if he is not careful and if he does not have a National Assembly now that is sort of supportive, so to speak.
Yes, so that's why he should be very interested with what is going on there. You know, when I read the statement of his media men saying that the president cannot intervene unless he's been advised by the governor, my conclusion is that he's not taking the right decision concerning this matter. There is no way he can continue to be aloof, because it's all about him. He has a lot of policy he wants to implement. And being in a democracy, he has to go through the legal process. He has to pass through the National Assembly in order to effect some of the reforms he has to carry. I mean, by way of legislative activity. Now, if he has a house that is very antagonistic, if he has a house that is very hostile, if he has a house that does not in any way even believe in the ideology that brought him into power, then he will run into problem implementing those policies. He's no longer under the military regime. He's now in a democratic regime, and he has to go by way of negotiation. He has to go by way of passing through process in order to get his intention, you know, implemented. And so he cannot afford to be aloof and say, I do not care who is there, because they can frustrate all his efforts. So he must be interested, you know, in the stability of the house. Where the house is very stable, he can be able to push through some of the bills he wants to push through in order to fulfill the electoral promises he made to Nigeria. So I think his being aloof at this time is not the best action.
In all honesty, what do you think a substantial damage has been done to the unity of the APC? Do you think the party can recover from this?
Now, to be sincere with you, we did not envisage this, and I don't think APC also envisaged what is playing out here at this point. It's a substantial damage. You know why I say it's a substantial damage? Unless something, you know, is done now to reconcile the warring parties, there is no way APCs will trust Saraki, who is the Senate president. And there is no way APC as a political party also will trust the Speaker of the House, because they consider them as people who betrayed the interests of the political party. And remember that there was a man called Tamboa who was once a Speaker of the House of Reps. And he came under the platform of PDP. When they did not want him to be the Speaker, he defied them and emerged the Speaker. And throughout the years he stayed there as a Speaker, they never trusted him. He was like an outcast. And when it became obvious that he was never trusted as a member of the PDP, he had to jump to APC. And so I see that relationship also playing out between the present leadership of the House and the political party that brought them into power. So unless this matter is nipped in the bud at this juncture, unless there is peace and there is resolution to actually pursue the interest of the political party and carry out the reform and manifestos which they have promised the Nigerian people, I don't see any peace, you know, in that house. And I don't see a situation where collateral damage cannot be said to have been done to APC as a political party. So it is indeed a very big collateral damage that has been done to the political party, you know, that we all believe, you know, will reflect the change all of us are yearning for. And Nigerians are really totally disappointed at this juncture. Some are already asking questions. Did we waste all this time, you know, being on the rain, being in the sun in order to cast our vote for nothing? Seeing the way they're playing out, see the way the so-called agents of change are carrying out their responsibility in the House. People are not too happy at all. And so there is a collateral damage done now. But I think the president can come in and nip this in the bud. I don't want a situation where they resume on 21st of July and these bickerings and this hostility continue. Because if it does continue, it then means that the party cannot fulfill its electoral promise. And that means that the PDP would have been rejoicing and said, we told you, Nigerian, that you made a mistake in this change we are clamoring for, that you would have continued with the issue of transformation and not the change, because the so-called change agents are not different. They are the same with us. And so that will really make Nigerians again to lose hope. But I think what we can do at this juncture is for Nigerians to all gather together, be united, and see if the political class will not do it right, we can make them to do it right. You know, that's why we are mobilizing Nigerians and say we are not going to sleep the way we slept for 16 years. We need to be awake from day one. to the end of this particular administration. We should hold them accountable. We should hold them, responsible for whatever actions they are taking. And in any way they get it wrong, we must go there and correct it. Even immobilizing ourselves to go to Abuja in order to ensure that they do the right thing. That is my take. We cannot afford to sleep. We cannot afford to, even for 1 minute, for 1 second, to close our eyes and say, let's allow them do whatever they want to do. No. We have done that for 16 years and it didn't pay us. This time around, we must get properly alerted and make sure that the right thing is being done. If these guys fail to do it, we don't mind closing that house and say we no longer require legislative chambers if they cannot do the right thing. I'm sure many Nigerians will hold the same view I'm holding. If the house cannot do the right thing, we don't mind doing away with the issue of the upper and lower chamber and probably go ahead with the executive and judiciary.